Hey Sabra, I'm back. Another mobile edition of your father's story, my story. I'm not in prison, as you may assume, based upon this barbed wire. Don't worry, I'm at Torina Dam, just going on a bike ride. Felt like stopping, seemed like a good place, beautiful day out. Figured I'd make a video for you. So, the question for today's video is, where did you want to go to college? And did you go to college? And I think it was a Y, something along those lines. So, when I was in high school, I think I was kind of like I wanted to, but I also didn't. It wasn't really a priority for me. I think it was something I knew that I would do later, but I wasn't really interested in going to school immediately afterwards. It wasn't something that was a big priority at that point in time. Like I knew that I wanted to go. Eventually I knew I wanted to study architecture. That was something that was important to me, but I just wasn't ready to go right then and there. I don't think I didn't really have a school in mind. I think I may have been thinking about the U of O, just because that's where Tutu went to school, and I knew that they had an architecture school, but it wasn't like something that was right on my radar at that moment in time. Like I said, I really wasn't. I was just ready to kind of take a break from school for a little bit, and I don't know. I just knew that it wasn't right for me at that right moment in time. Or at least I had that feeling anyways. But yes, eventually I did go back to school, as you know, because you were older when I went back to school. I went back I first started back at LCC at Lane, I think in like 2011, maybe 2012, somewhere in there. It might have been 11. And I started out taking real estate classes, actually, because I was interested in potentially buying my own house, and I wanted to know more, and I also knew that kind of tied in with construction and architecture, and I just figured it'd be a good thing to do. And so yeah, I did. I went back to school, and that was kind of the first thing I did, actually, was take real estate classes at Lane. I went through that entire course, actually, and yeah, took the test, and I could have been a realtor if I really wanted to, but I didn't. That's okay. And then I went there for a few years to Lane and just got all my general education stuff. I did okay. I was a pretty decent student. When you go back to school when you're older, you take it a bit more seriously, because, you're older. Or at least you should. Maybe you're a little bit more mature, maybe not. So yeah, I was back at Lane, and then, that was eventually the goal for me, was to get into the U of O architecture school and, graduate. And so I was at Lane from, I don't remember if I think I just started taking real estate classes in spring of 2011, something like that. And then I started taking general education stuff in 2012. And eventually I made it over to the U of O in 2013 and started classes in the architecture program. I didn't make it in my first year. I was really pissed off about that. Yeah, it lit a fire under my ass that they didn't accept my first application. And you know what? I don't blame them. My first application wasn't very strong. There was just some stuff that I needed to do. And I don't think they even really told me why they didn't accept it. But, it gave me a lot of, I guess, oomph or energy to get into the program. When they rejected me, so to speak, I was pretty pissed and knew that they'd be missing out on this. And so I worked my ass off that year. I took a bunch of art classes. I volunteered for Habitat for Humanity. I did a few other things to really strengthen my portfolio and, kind of be a good applicant the next year. And, sure enough, I got in the next year, and I was really excited and happy about that. And the rest is history. I ended up going through, and, I don't want to say the rest is history, but just yet, because along the way, when I was taking architecture classes, I really got into the environmental classes I was taking. I was really interested in sustainable or green architecture, if you want to call it that. And, how buildings interact with the rest of the world, the natural world rather. And so I started taking a bunch of environmental classes, studies classes, and the two fields really were kind of closely related. And so I ended up getting another Bachelor of Environmental Studies, a Bachelor of Science of Environmental Studies. And so I got 2 degrees from the U of O when I graduated in 2018. It's a pretty big accomplishment. I really, I earned every part of that. I really worked my tail off, and it was a significant challenge, especially being a single dad and you were in your teenage years. That was a rough part of my life. That's probably where half these gray hairs came from, at least. No, you were a great kid. It was just, I was managing a lot of things. And it was good. It was really great formative experience. I definitely don't take that. I would never take that back. Very grateful for my education and the fact that I chose to go back to school so late in life. There's maybe one thing. I mean, you're in school right now. You're 23 or so, which is good. But I didn't go back to school until I was, close to 30. Yeah, I think I was 29, 30. With a kid, and by the time I got into the U of O architecture, the average age of my classmates, Sabra, was 19 years old. Yeah, because they have all the demographics. It shows you how old your classmates are and where they come from and yada yada. Yeah, so I was a 30-year-old going to school with people 10 years, 11 years younger than me, and I had a kid. It was it was a bit of a culture shock for me. I got through. Man, it was it was tough. I'm not gonna lie, but really great. Definitely, I think those are the things that those type of situations, being put in challenging situations and then just being aware of it and pushing through with what you have every day, no matter what you have. It's a very big character builder if you let it. And I let it. I'm really glad that I did. Yeah. So I don't mean to get too far off a track, but yeah, that's what that's where I went to college. That's where I went to school. It was a little bit of a circuitous path, so to speak. I kind of, was in the Air Force and construction and all that, but I'm very grateful that I did. It's been life-changing for me to actually get my education, and life-changing in the sense that it's opened up pathways in my brain maybe that I had closed off, or maybe that I didn't even know existed. So I think everyone should educate themselves. It doesn't necessarily need to be, I don't think it necessarily needs to be in a formal school setting like that, but maybe in a sense it should be, because, you're put under pressure and you have deadlines, and, you can only do that really in a formal school or some type of formal education system. And so, yeah, I think everyone should push themselves mentally, so they can begin to maybe look at the bigger picture as far as the physical world is concerned. I think it helps enlighten you to the things that maybe are deeper than that, in the spiritual world, if you will. Anyways, so that's the video for today. I hope you're having a great day. I love you, kiddo. Catch you on the next one. Bye.